What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Wednesday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you're having a great week. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up, what's up, what's up? How are y'all doing? I just jumped on here quick before I have to go pick my girl up. I got off a little early today. It's really hot. So here I am. And I figured we could just chop it up for a bit. I don't have any specific topics of conversation. You guys want to talk about something, that's cool. And aside from that, you know what my channel is about. We speak on prison. We speak on addiction. We speak on life. And I'll pretty much speak on most things as long as it doesn't jeopardize my channel and thus jeopardizing the message. So that's all that's important to me. Mitch, what up? New York Tyrant Hunter, what up? Yeneka, what up? What are you guys saying? What is the word today? How was your day? It is excruciatingly hot here. It's something like 45 or 43 with the humidex. It is unbelievable. And I know it's Canada and it's cold most of the time, but in the summertime around the Great Lakes, it is crazy hot because of the humidity. Yeah, and typically I'm too busy at work to get off early. Today was one day my board was kind of empty. I think it's hot, so a lot of union guys aren't working. The only companies that are really working are like the pool companies and the hardscape and stuff like that. So it's 93 here. New job's good. It's great. I enjoy the ability to be able to make my own day, to just sit with my thoughts and kind of just enjoy what I'm doing. When I was a yard guy, I'm in the mud all the time. And sure, the skills are valuable. But I feel like I was at a point where I had learned kind of everything I could learn there. And, it's just great kind of having an independent position. Hugh, what up, man? Isabel, what up? It's May 6th. It's hard for me. You'll be all right. And he'll be all right. Yeah, it's hot, man. It's hot. I know there was points today at my shop where it's like 45. And maybe that's inside the shop. Maybe it's like 40 outside the shop. But it was sunny and hot. And it's one of those days that just from moving, your eyeballs are sweating. Dynamite. Has a person ever come home while you're committing a robbery? 100%. When you're doing break and enters, I wouldn't say robbery because typically if it's a robbery, the person has to be there to be robbed. But if you're doing like a burglary or a break and enter, there's always that risk. And the reality is the reason why they give so much time for a non-violent crime nowadays, like a B&E, is because of the possibility of violence. Like, not only is it possible for the person doing and committing the crime to be violent, but it's also possible for the person who lives there to be violent and fuck his life up having to defend his house. Because in Canada, you only have so much right to self-defense. So it's like necessary self-defense to get out of the situation. But you never know what could happen. So they're also putting that person at risk. You know what I mean? Nick, what's up, brother? Callie, what's up? Vikas, what up? Your channel is tough. Just seen a few videos. I did a few bids and one Fed bid, 210 to 213 in the bag. Good job, homie. You already know because I appreciate that. Holler at me in the community section if you'd like to do an interview. It's important. Like, I know there's a lot of guys in the system that won't love the idea of people doing videos, right? But I have certain rules that I stick by. I don't mention names. I don't mention secrets like how guys sneak drugs in and how to beat the scanners and how to do this and that. I don't do that stuff, right? Because there are people right now living in jail. But it's important for people that are young and heading in that direction, or people that are almost there. They're almost at that point in their life where they've decided that they're going to turn it around and they just need a little bit of extra motivation. That's who this channel is for. Tristan Anderson, no. Why, you ask? Maddie, can you give at Isabel Robertson? How can she start the process on visiting her man down by? Oh, sorry. You just got to contact whatever prison they're in and get the visiting forms. It's pretty uniform across the board, but yeah. And then once you get that visiting form, you're going to have to get like a passport photo, and you send that in. Then it'll go through a, vetting process, and they'll decide if they're okay with you visiting. Yuli, you already know, man. Shout out to Winnipeg. Just hiding from the heat, eh, Nick? That's what I'm talking about. Tristan Anderson, why would you have thought that he might have been? Do you know me? Do you know anybody around me? I'm just saying, why would you ask that? It's a pretty random question. Do you know somebody who looks like me who plays golf? Party prop setup. What's up, my brother? Okay. Weird. I don't like people that trip me out like that, man. Start asking things that kind of a little too close to home for my liking. Isabel Robinson, you already know. What are some unwritten rules in prison? Well, you can't whistle. That is a big time no-no. It could get you hurt even without a warning sometimes. Being messy, box teething, take things that aren't yours. Even touching things that aren't yours in some jails or prisons can get you in trouble. So I don't know. There's a lot of different things. It really just depends on where you're doing time and how much time you're doing and what kind of people you're doing time around, Hey, do you know if guys still have to pay child support when they have to do time? I don't think so. Just like I don't think debt incurs interest if you fill out a certain paperwork. I know there's a way that you can kind of stop all that stuff, because how can they charge you interest while you're in prison, right? So, yeah, my cat's amazing. What kind of time would one face on a break-in and armed robbery, forcible confinement, assault with a weapon, first-time offender? What kind of a weapon? And was anybody hurt? The kid I knew named David Beek was convicted of murder. I can't find any information online on which prison he went to. Do you know how I can find this information? No idea. But what you do is you send a letter to Joyceville, because Joyceville is reception. So for the first 3 or 4 months of their federal sentence, that's where they will be. And even if they ship them somewhere else, the letter will follow them. As always, thanks for taking the time to answer your questions. You already know, Hugh. Those SAS pens are crazy. Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. Like, the level of violence and the level of people rumbling and stuff, like, I know that it happens in all provinces, but when you look up certain, there's certain pens I haven't done videos on because I can't find anything about them. You know what I'm saying? But then you go and you look up prisons in the prairies or Ontario, and it's a much different situation. You know what I mean? Welcome by TV, looking in cells. Yeah, rubbernecking. That's a no too. Snitching, talking to the feds too much, Those are no-nos, you know. It's different if a guy's been in a prison for 10 years, you know, he kind of has things moving and shaking on the block, and he has a certain rapport with some feds, so he's able to do what he does. But that's different than a new person just spending a bunch of time by the bubble. You know what I mean? Gun and some small scratches. So basically, it's a home invasion where somebody got minor hurt. And honestly, for a home invasion, I would say you're looking at 3 to 7 years, even first offense. The prairies and territories have the highest incarceration rate in Canada. Yeah, 100%, for sure. And it's crazy, you know. I had some people in my comments that didn't really agree with when I said there's a lot of racial profiling, and I wasn't trying to say that people don't commit crimes. What I was trying to say is that people are sentenced for crimes more harshly, sometimes based off race, and definitely institutionally are treated differently. I've seen it myself. You know, a lot of CEOs are very white supremacist. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it, and that's in Ontario. So I just see when you see such different numbers, and I'm not saying that doesn't mean that it's not actual crime statistics, but when you look at crime statistics and they're so lopsided, why is that? You know what I mean? How did any Americans you did time with fare? Americans seem to be pretty chill. It wasn't the same as if somebody, say, came from out east or out west, they'd be questioned much differently. People from the States, because there is an inmate exchange program. I had a homeboy that was on the inmate exchange program. So a lot of the time when the guys get sent back to Canada, Canadians, they get out on parole because that you do so much more of your time there. But I've definitely met a few Americans, and they seem to be all right. Nasty storm coming. Yeah, that's great news, especially with all the power outages and internet outages and all that stuff. I can't find any information online which prison he went to. You already asked me that. I told you. Joyceville Penitentiary. That is the only opportunity. I don't mention names on my channel, Nigel, but I know the man well, you know? So I don't know if he'd be down for that. Have you seen anyone break out of jail? Not out of like the super jails or the penitentiaries. I've seen guys escape out of like camp. Well, I haven't like laid eyes on them, but I've been there when it's happened. I know guys that have done it. I knew a guy, actually, I did time with a guy, an old lifer dude. Nobody liked him because he's like a real opinionated old guy, but he's old. I saw him get jumped. Well, once again, he got jumped when I was in Joyceville on the range above me because of his mouth by 6 young guys one time. He's just like a weird old guy. His cell's always filthy. He like never kept, like he'd buy off the Christmas bag and stuff. He'd buy like salami and cheese and stuff like that. And he'd just never put them in the fridge, too scared of them getting box teeth. So he'd just leave them in his cell. Like, that's not healthy, eating that stuff. There's no way that's good for you. But he escaped from, what's that? What's the American prison? It's like a military prison. Leavenworth? He escaped from Leavenworth. He'd been in for like 35 or 36 years. CNCC's chill. You'll be all right. Play your position. Be yourself. You'll be all right. What is the prison exchange program? And what's the objective? Just to bring prisoners back to their country, right? Before their sentence is finished. Because they don't want to let you out in the US, right? So they send you back. And vice versa. It's not like a regular thing. It's pretty rare. KR10. Good evening, Matt. I go to the pen in August. Can I bring my Tims and my Jordans? Yeah, 100%. You're allowed to have $1,500 worth of sell stuff. I don't know if that's increased, but that's what it always was. You can have a TV up to 19 inches, like a flat screen. It can't be smart. It can't be anything that you can plug HDMI. You're probably going to have to go to like a pawn shop or something to find a TV that'll work, or buy it from the joint. But you can take clothes, you can take jewelry, whatever you want, but it's going to add up to that 1,500, or it's going to stay in your properties. But yeah, definitely. Take if you can find like a Discman and CDs, take that with you. Anything like that. What I would do is I'd go online and I'd see if I could find out any amendments that have been made because of technology. And yeah. How the guard heard they aggro. What does that mean? Sorry, I don't know that lingo. How could you know you're going to be in the pen that far in advance? Yeah. There's a lot of people that get bailed, brother, and they get sentenced, and they know. There's people that get found guilty on a first offense and get to stay out after they get found guilty until sentencing. Those guys can have problems when they come in if they don't come in right. But not really, though. Legally, can you defend yourself in prison? I know Canadian law is whack, but it's different in prison. It is. Prison is probably the same as it is in the U.S. You kill somebody, you're probably going to get like a handful of years. And unless they know for 100% fact that it's a premeditated murder. But if it's a fight, somebody loses their life, Canadian law is not that bad, though, to be honest, because in Canada, life isn't life. You always will at least get one chance unless your behavior is so bad inside that they don't deem you manageable. And that's rare for guys to be in that situation. But, for some stuff, Canada is not hard on. And for some stuff, they are. So, if you get caught in Canada with a bunch of drugs, you're in a much better situation than if you're in the U.S. You know what I mean? But if you get caught in Canada with a strap, then you're in a much worse situation than you are if you're in the U.S. So, on 2 pair of shorts, a few underwear. Yeah. Just stock up. Danielle M. Hey, do you still have Instagram? I sent you a quick question on there a little while ago. I don't really go on there anymore. I will be going back on, though, so I'll see it at some point. I'm trying to get interviews lined up, Mitch. I've just been so busy. Don't worry. We're going to get some going. If you're in the building, hit that like button. 31 and 12. Come on, dog. My opinion. What's up, Mike? What's a gun get you? It depends. But I'd say if you are caught with a handgun in Canada, you're looking at, in most cases, 2 years plus for that gun. But in some cases, like say you got caught with a chopper or something, you're cooked. You could probably get like 10, 12 years for a gun like that. You said if you come to prison from the street, you have to come correct. Can you elaborate? You're expected to try to bring something in with you. It's not, no, there's no, they got rid of the mandatory minimum for guns in Canada. Maybe there was a point where there was a mandatory minimum for guns, and they've scrapped it. So it depends on your situation. Maybe for a loaded handgun, I don't know. Maybe that's right. But if you have like a big gun, though, if you have something that could really like stretch some people out, you're cooked. You are cooked. Yeah, keratin. You already know, playa. Yeah, when that fool Harper was in power. Yeah, I know there used to be a mandatory minimum for sure, but not anymore. If there's a magazine in the gun, it's considered loaded. That is a fact. Even if, like in Canada, you're not even allowed to have your gun like out. It has to be locked with a trigger lock. Your ammo has to be locked in a separate place. Guns for Canada are not for self-defense in any way. They are for sport or for hunting. That is it. How do you feel on the overturn where they stacked multiple parole and eligibility periods for multiple murders? What you're Oh, so you mean like they now can do like 75 years before you're eligible for parole? That's life. You know what I mean? That is life in prison. So if that's the case, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. That's really fucked up. But at the same time, you shouldn't be out there stacking bodies up. So you know the cost of getting caught, you know? We do not have the right to have guns to stop a tyrannical government. That's why they got rid of the guns. That's why certain things happen, you know? Yeah, I definitely knew diabetics in jail. Hey, get down. Hey. I definitely knew diabetics in jail for sure. Going down below, bro. Start looking for a Walkman. It's dismantled. A little radio. Little boom box. A little boom box is good. I think there's a watt limit now. So, like, I think the biggest thing you can have is like a Sony Explode or like an old style Kaboom. I think that's like the biggest you can have. There was a point in time where you could have like a 600-700 watt subwoofer and everything, but they got rid of all of that. I'm in Alberta. They need to let up on the gun laws. That's a fact. BC. I lived there at one point. In the hypothetical case, you could use it for self-defense on your own property if someone was also pointing a gun at you, but you better have all your ducks in order and expect to be taken into custody. Yeah, so even if you use the gun in self-defense, like say somebody comes into your house and you shoot them because they have a gun, but your ammunition is not stored properly when the cops come there, your gun locker is wide open, there's guns on the floor, you're still going to get charged for improper storage. That's Canada. I knew a guy that killed 2 people, that murdered his friend prior to him shooting them, and they still gave him 6 years for the gun. Of course I remember the kabooms. First thing I did when I got released, to be honest, was had a smoke. Got a Tim Hortons coffee. But me, this time I had to go right to treatment. So it was just get a burger, eat some quick takeout food, something different, and then right back to another institution. Nice. Yeah, Naka, that's good. I've been charged with that unsafe storage of firearms. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Alberta is actually pretty relaxed compared to Ontario. I used to live there. Love Alberta. The self-defense laws in Canada were different prior to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Yeah, I'm sure. Generally speaking, if you keep quiet in prison and just want to do your time, will you be left alone? In prison, yes, generally. In correctional or detention, depends. Depends on if you stand out. Is there something about you that makes you stand out? Are you funny looking? Because if you're funny looking, you're in trouble. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than being funny looking in jail. And it's not about being ugly. It's about being funny looking. And like Arizona, people walk around with open carry on their hip. Texas and stuff too. Texas, you don't even have to have a gun license. As long as you're not a felon, you can open carry. I got a $100 fine and thankfully no jail time. Yeah. Maybe I'm biased, but your channel is better than at Jay Williams. Shout out to Jay Williams, man. Don't say that. I just try to be myself. That's it. I'm not trying to be anything but me. If you're 6'5", will people clown you? Probably not. You're a big dude, you know. I'm off of here. You guys already know I got to go pick up my old lady. But you guys already know I told you I'm going to start trying to do 2 of these a week, more videos. We're going to try and get back on track. And that's it. But I love y'all. I love it when you guys come check out the channel. Hit that like button before you go. And if you haven't subscribed, prison, addiction, life, trauma, whatever it is, we can cover it if you want. Love each and every one of you at the new Matt Clark. I love y'all.